I'll let you take the reins for a few minutes or however long this thing goes. I don't know what you're gonna do, how you're gonna do it. I'm nervous. I'm excited. Good God, you all better enjoy this.
Well, how do you know I haven't already been doing it?
Honestly, I've been asking myself that for the past 5 minutes.
That's right. How do you know?
I almost feel like I can't verbally answer that question.
That's and how does it make you feel?
Like I'm in a therapy session now because now I'm turning on my defense mechanism.
Well, it's pretty easy to make you laugh because you're doing it right off the bat. So
Yeah.
it's if we're going to do a comedy version, how's about I can make you say 5. Do you know that?
I don't want to answer. I mean, you probably could. I feel like it'd be like a subtle verbal trickery. I can think of a few ways, but I don't want to think about it too much.
Okay. Well, I mean, you're probably going to figure it out anyway. So do you want to take the challenge?
Yeah.
Okay, this is really easy. Anybody can do this. You can find this like on YouTube even, but this is just to break the tension a little bit. So what is 1 + 1?
2.
2 + 2?
4.
7 + 1?
8.
4 + 6?
10.
4 plus now has about 3 + 3.
You're asking 3 + 3 or 4 + 3 + 3?
You tell me.
Oh, it's either 6 or 10. I'm bad at math.
Are we all? So what's 10 - 1?
9.
See, I got you. I got you. I got you to say 9.
Crafty. I almost did it.
Yeah,
Crafty.
you see?
I didn't see that. That was
For
more subtle
people
than I
who
was
don't
expecting.
know what just happened, he figured it out just at the last second. What happens is because most people have huge pride in themselves, they're like, oh, I can't be made to say something. They're like, okay, well, my ego's going to take over now. So you make them stay unsteady, and then you bring it in. You misdirect them with 9 when you're trying to make them say 5. And what would happen is he would just say, no, you said 5. So John's cognitive thinking is very on alert for some reason.
Yeah, I think it's funny, but at the same time, it's a bummer. And I remember talking with Brizzy and other hypnotists about this, that once you get to a certain level of practice and knowledge, that it stings because you become unintentionally analytical on a
Yep.
subconscious level. Like even if like me, like and I'm gonna give in a little bit more and more with everything we do because I know it's going to be more entertaining for them as well as educational. But I also want to experience it because I noticed that every so many years I'm in this, it's like you understand the basic processes and then you unintentionally are like evaluating and analyzing it as it's happening. Even if you want it, you're just like, wait a minute, is this what's happening? And then you're like, wait.
Hmm. That's right. Like normal people who are addicted to hypnosis, the thing I did earlier was just a regular countdown from 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. If you did you recognize that?
So I'm gonna be honest. No, I don't even remember at
I
this
know.
exact moment. But that's because I just felt very subtly induced right there.
Yes, you were. And then you went on guard at the very end. And then you went on your own spiel of because your ego took over after that. Now, when it comes to covert hypnosis, there's several different methods. There's even the yes method. You know what the yes method is, right?
Yes, and
Exactly. So you like to feel comfortable,
yes,
okay? Do you like to go under?
sometimes.
It's a yes or no answer.
Oh, yes.
So you just automatically already gave me consent. That's how a hypnopredator would have already subverted you.
Mm.
And then they would just go on from there. But I'm kind of moralistically trying to hold back from being mean. And I don't know why. I think it's because of your nature.
Thank you. I appreciate that. That's why I trusted you to begin with.
Oh God.
Rapport is importante.
Oh, yes, it is. It's very important. I don't know how many times, let's just say, for instance, how many times can you remember that you were just carried away with my cadence?
More times than people have seen on camera.
Yes. Yeah, you pretty much straight up just said like you meant to explain things in our conversations while I was talking, and you got enthralled in what I was saying, because that's also hypno pattern that I still use. I use it 24/7. So when I catch people's attention, it's because I'm constantly using NLP. Everybody does that, but I have a cadence and it drones people along. Um, when if you were in person, I would have tugged you instantly into a trance as soon as I saw you were like listening in. I would have, said a couple things back and forth in NLP wise, and then tugged you down. So it's like the difference is we're on camera. And that makes it a little bit harder for even a hypnotist to do. So they have to do things differently when it comes to covert.
Mhm.
So when the thing that you have felt that you didn't mention was how you felt after I was questioning you suddenly. How did that feeling feel?
Mysterious, long forgotten, because it had been so long since I've trusted anyone to hypnotize me, but a weird, eerie sense of calm.
Yeah, that's where we're trying to get you to. Just just because you notice I was suddenly serious when I did that, right?
Mhm.
Had so that was what I was going for, getting you off guard so that I can put more stuff into you that I want to put into you. And in other words, there are instances where I would just do back and forth, patter about who you are, and then I would just sink into you just because I'm talking to you in general. But sometimes I have this hypnotic voice that you've never heard before. And if my voice gets inside your head, maybe it can lull you to sleep, maybe make you feel very relaxed and very, very pliable to my every single word. Maybe you do want to go under because it might feel good for you to go blank, empty, happy, Wouldn't that be nice, John?
I think I'm defensive on the fully going under, but I feel very different even right now than I felt when we first started.
Yeah.
Oh God, shit.
You okay?
My palms are sweating profusely. But like I legitimately feel it's been a very long time. I feel very, very similar to what someone feels like when they wake up from an initial induction before fully going in for like a stage show or something.
Yeah, that's what we're going for.
Like I got the tinglies, I got the fuzzies, I got the you feel really weird, and my body and mind are like, what the fuck?
Yeah, that's what we're going for. Because think about it, you have all those people on stage. What goes through their mind? They're Johnny on the spot. They're just right there in front of people. That's the induction already. Yeah, I mean, you already know that.
Mhm.
They've already, once they've joined in, they're right there. They're ready for it, unless their guard is straight up because they don't want to go under. You know, those are just assholes who just like, yeah, right. You know,
We've
but
had
for
many conversations about them this week.
yeah, but for like you've done it for so much. When was the last time you actually got hypnotized?
I think for basic like relaxation, it was during my last in-person mentorship this past 4th of July weekend. But before that, like full on hypnotized. It's had to have been years by now. I don't, as you know, I'm very, very persnickety with who I will let work with me in that sense.
Hmm. And did you notice, John, that for quite a long time I've led the conversations a lot? That's also part of covert NLP as well.
Hmm.
How much of that do you know was actually your idea?
Unsure.
And how does that make you feel that you had to think?
Slow.
Good. We're getting there.
I
Congrats.
want to know, because I'm still partially with it. Comment down below who is where at this point watching this video. Have some of you passed out already? Are some of you zonked out? Or some of you wondering what the hell is going on? I'm genuinely interested to see where you guys are because we've never done something like this on the channel before. So let me know. And obviously we'll have Kiki's information, channel and such linked in the description. But yeah, I felt multiple things since we've started this. It's weird revisiting it in such a format.
See, with people watching, they won't get the same aspect because they're not the one who's on the spot.
Right.
I'm utilizing that specifically
Hmm.
just to do that. That is what my focus was on because I knew that's what was going to happen. As for changing your mind and stuff like that, again, how do you know most of the stuff I've said and done was actually, and the actions you've said and done was actually your own?
So just to give a little bit of insight, because I think it's interesting to anyone watching this, naturally, my mind comes up with a few answers to that, but
Listen,
coincidentally, or
stop. I'm going to tell you something. When I did that and I questioned everything, that's making you question yourself.
yeah,
That's part of covert.
yeah,
So
that's what I was saying.
yeah, that's part of covert. I don't like people who are going to watch it. They're going to like, well, that wouldn't work on me. It's like because you're not the one who's
On the
being,
spot.
you're not being on the spot. That's what hypnopredators do. They
Mhm.
put you on the spot. They either work with, if you're a naive person, it's real easy. You could just say what I just did earlier with the 9 through 1, and then they will go under. When it comes to someone who's has their guard up, you have to take a different route. So I've been probing John this whole entire time, all the way from when he started doing my testimonial with me and interviewing me. I've been actually watching him this whole entire time, and I knew, unless we actually did a hypnosis type thing, that it would have to come down to this, and this is what we came to.
Yeah, and what I was gonna say initially to end the last note I was saying was my mind came up with all those normal analytical thoughts, but I almost didn't want to say it because it felt like too much effort.
You like too much effort, don't you?
Yeah. Guilty.
But we can always release that valve for you, John.
We could.
Oh, would that be okay?
Okay.
Good boy.
And
See,
disconnect.
that's what a hypnodom does.
And that's going to be a very interesting subtopic for people who didn't know that about you or about what we teach in that training. By the way, kids, this is why we make sure all hypno training lessons are all 18 plus of age.
That's right. They got to be. I mean, why else is this right here? So
Use
I've
what
been,
your mama gave you.
well, for women, it's actually easier to put really horny men under.
Mhm.
They just use their womanly wiles and etc. And they use their lovely little voices.
I've been seeing that a lot on the TikToks and the YouTube shorts of the men of culture will come in the comment section and be like, men of culture, we meet again. I'm just like, I need to go watch something else. Because no, I don't need to be watching that.
So yeah, one of the things that's been used a lot and text wise and in person is the yes induction. It's been used both ways in covert, and it's also been used just a regular text, and that's where the purpose of like a hypnopredator would be to get you off balance and then to seduce you with a prospect of putting you under. And you would, in your mind, would just say, yes, would you like to be put under? And you would say, yes, like, how does it make you feel that it's actually pulling you? How does it make you feel that you want to do this? Are you So every time I would say something, you're supposed to say inside your own mind, yes. However, there are people who know how to make you say yes without you actually saying yes. So we can say, you want to go under, you need to go under. It's nice to feel good, to let go, and to let me take control. That's what you want. Because each time you say yes to that, the more it sinks in, the more you want to have it sink in, the better you want to have it sink in. So, in fetish aspects, that is our creme de la creme.
And I think a very important note to make is, as we talk about in the full training, just the subtleties of, like, for example, what you just did. People don't realize, again, as we talk about in the training, that it's not all about grabbing your attention and saying sleep and dropping you. Like, your voice speed slows down, your voice tonality changes drastically to very soft and very mellow, and then your verbiage and how you say things and the flow of what you're saying, they're all together subtle covert techniques that accumulatively have a psychological subconscious effect that whether you're a somnambulist watching this and you feel even a degree of what I've described to this point, I feel, or even myself, knowing what, to some degree, what the goal here was, there's little things that can affect everyone to some degree. And I think for me, the most obvious sign that that's working is because obviously I'm so on guard and I'm so hesitant just because I'm so persnickety, and obviously this is being publicized and I haven't been hypnotized for public entertainment in a very long time. I know it's working because on the inside, and you can probably see it yourself since you've been doing this for so long, there's a clear indication that I'm being affected, but internally I'm like, I'm not sure about this one or this idea or this thing she's saying. But that in and of itself, and if any of you are watching, just to let you know, that is a clear indication that covert techniques cumulatively are taking effect. Even if they don't take full effect, it's still taking an effect of some sort to some degree.
Yeah, the thing I used at the end there was what you call a seductive induction type technique that a lot of hypnodoms use. Works on people who want to really like instantly want to let go really quick. So for people who want something deeper, they have most of them in the community for the longest time. They like to have PMR done to them, and if
What's
you don't know,
PMR for those who don't know?
yeah, progressive muscle relaxation.
Oh, right. Okay.
PMR is basically what hypnotherapists use, and technically, most hypnotists don't like using PMR because they rather have instant inductions that put them quicker because it does work. The instant inductions really work well, but for a hypnotherapist, they use that because they're trying to get to a point where they can change someone permanently. Like a hypnotist can change someone, like stop them from smoking even, but that's just based upon how badly they want to. Now, someone who's already tried and it didn't work, then they have to do PMR. And the PMR is what the hypnotherapists do. And this includes mental issues and such that they want done and dealt with. So you have to do PMR with them. You just can't just walk up to them, say sleep, and then just go, yeah, yeah, no, you just wind yourself and blah blah blah, and just do that. It doesn't normally work with someone with mental issues. So you have to purposely know them. You have to know their psychology to help them. It just them saying, oh, I have depression. It's like, oh, that's easy. Let me do this. That could be instant feel good that day, maybe a couple days, but that won't be permanent because real people with major manic depression, they need more than that. And that's what we do with, hypnotherapists do with PMR. So here's the interesting thing though. If a hypnotherapist learned what John teaches, they can more quickly help people with mental issues in hypnotherapy. Because there's a lot of hypnotherapists that don't have practice putting people under. So they have to go case by case to figure it out. And so, of
Really?
course, for real. So, like you and Richard Anthony, like Bruce Anderson, people who hypnotize people, let's say the secret subject and all that. But you specifically, because you can train them, you can train hypnotherapists, because this would be good for a hypnotherapist to break through their own shell to hypnotize someone. So this will allow them to not have to depend on scripts, because a lot of hypnotherapists actually do scripts. They figure out what psychology it would be, and even they could be hypnotherapists for 20 years, 30 years, and they still go by scripts because they go by what they've learned. But the good hypnotherapists are the ones that don't go by scripts. They go by you. They go by what you have said to them that they, you know. So anyway, trying to bring this full circle. Covert would actually work in a hypnotherapy room too, because certain people who are too anxiety filled, to ADHD filled, to whatever, you do a little covert when they're ready to go under, and that would catch them off guard and it would help them with whatever they're there for. So
No, that makes sense. And again, yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this segment. Again, comment down below. We're gonna close this, but if you want to learn a breakdown of this demonstration and how you can do this either virtually or in person the way she just did for me, for you guys in entertainment, let alone learn about red flags of hypno-predators, hypno-cults, signs of sociopathy, learn about literal illegal government programs where mind control was an actual human experiment for groups of people, let alone a bunch of other covert tricks and techniques that are used in politics, religions, cults, and elsewhere. We're launching a massive covert hypnosis training over at hypnokick.com, which will be linked in the description. And Keiki has been one of the biggest collaborators on this training and reveals a wealth of knowledge regarding virtually everything I just mentioned here, in addition to other stuff we haven't covered, because honestly, there's literally hours of training within this specific training to help further educate you guys, as well as use that education to keep yourselves as well as other people you know safe, or to help them out of situations, and even personally a way to contact Keiki and her trainer themselves in case you or someone you know is in a situation that you're not comfortable with or need to get out of. And I will actually let Keiki make any final notes on this before we close out.
yeah, be very careful whenever you're doing anything mental. I wouldn't do it if I was you, but if John's training has any merit, then I think you'll do just do fine. Otherwise, just reach out to me at the links that John has said, and I'll help you as best I can.
And again, we'll also include her and her trainer's links in the actual covered hypnosis training. And if you're wondering what makes a good hypnotist that you can trust versus a hypno predator or a hypno cult, we literally have multiple sections covering that in full detail on the training. Again, link down in the description. But again, let me know down below, like, how did you guys feel during this demonstration? Before, middle, after? Now, did it have any effect? If so, what? Let us know. We are pumped and looking forward to your guys' experience. But as always, take care of yourselves, get educated with the training. We'll be here for you. And until next time, live limitless.
So we're going to discuss one thing that's pretty touchy subject here. It should be really well known that underage people coming onto adult sites, it doesn't matter what kind, even hypnosis websites, are very dangerous places for young kids, and they do show up on there. So how do you find out if they're underage, if they're on an adult site, BDSM, or even adult hypnosis website, fetish?
Or even Omegle, I'll interject, because not so long ago in the recent past, HypnoKick did a lesson on the dark side of virtual hypnosis, specifically regarding the female like yourself that was in a virtual room on Omegle, which a lot of kids use too. And she admitted being taken advantage of on that platform. So it's not just hypnosis related sites. It could also be virtual platforms like Omegle or Discord or the like. So just be aware that this isn't just strictly hypnosis related sites, guys. This is a serious thing that has come up on multiple different virtual platforms.
Yes. Like, how do you recognize them? For me, I've probably found maybe 30 or so people that I've had to do this weird interrogation thing, because you can tell when they're young kids on there based upon the information they put on the profile. So I would go to them and I would alert the site manager that I think this person might be underage. So they would let me carte blanche to figure it out. So I would basically be nice to them, talk to them, and I would use NLP type tactics later if they won't come clean. And eventually they tell me that they are, and I would report it to the site owner, and the site owner would just kick them out. Some of them would just return back over and over again. And and then at that point, you kind of have to scare them off of it and let them know how dangerous the site really is, that they shouldn't be on there. Telling a little side story, now that I think about it, there was one person that was underage, and they purposely did a very good job of hiding themselves. And I did have to use some really intricate things to get them to confess that they're underage. And I turned to find out that they were purposely doing what they were doing because they were trying to find child predators to report on, because they got a kick out of getting them, which sounds cool, but at the same time, it's also bad. And they were around 14 at the time. So I don't know what their family life was like for them to do that. That sounds cool, but at the same time, you could get in real big trouble for doing that. It's a very touchy, dangerous subject to even do such a thing. So just really don't do it, kids, because you never know when you might run across someone who knows how to manipulate you to the point that they could just probably kidnap you and be one of those cases where they took full advantage of you, mind rape you, and then body rape you, and then kidnap you. Those steps on certain hypnopredators and even cults kind of do when they find out you are underage. So this is my warning of saying this can happen. And now the other thing is, if more kids find out to be on these adult sites, they could have them shut down all these websites if they can't have moderators to figure them out. So everybody needs to, be sure that they can figure out the ages of these people, and hopefully these websites have a good way of screening people from being underage on the sites. There are even like conservative type credit card companies. This is not basis on child stuff, but this is basis on morals basis. Conservative websites would purposely try to take down a site unless they got rid of certain content they didn't like. Mind control content, blood play, etc., vampirism, stuff like that. Certain credit card companies will try to shut down like a BDSM website because that doesn't fit their values for that company. So what they had to do was take out hypnosis as a thing in order for people to still enjoy what they enjoy, and that's hypnosis. So you'll never find in certain websites, if the word hypnosis is not in the header anywhere in search, it's because that credit card company didn't allow that website that they zeroed on to use that word. So they got rid of it. And if you think this is kind of bad. Imagine what would happen with the kids if they're found out on these websites. And it could even just be, you know, like say, what would be an example that would be really bad? Twitter or something. Some kids being in a space and they're showing themselves on there because some hypnopredator grabbed a hold of them, and their naivety didn't understand to be prepared for what was going to happen because they thought they were getting attention. Stuff like that. Just like a PSA for everybody. Stay safe, please.